The House of Commons will continue to resume normal sittings on April 20th, unless an agreement is reached between all the parties to modify the sitting calendar. As I made clear in my letter to the Prime Minister last night, such an agreement must include regular opportunities for members of Parliament to question him as we would normally during question period. It must also include regular opportunities for members of Parliament to question ministers in the House of Commons on all aspects of the government's response to COVID-19. If there is no agreement reached, then the House of Commons will return normally on Monday. We can all agree that having 338 members of Parliament come back to the chamber is not optimal. So what we're proposing to the government is to have a reduced number of members of Parliament from each party in proportion to the results of the last election and in proportion to the normal standing in the chamber, a representation from each caucus, to have regular accountability sessions, to be able to ask the types of questions that we're asking on Saturday about the number of ventilators that were promised, and it turns out the government hasn't received any, about the gaps in their emergency response benefits, about the gaps in their wage subsidy legislation. So on a go-forward basis, we believe that we should be having regular, frequent accountability sessions in the House of Commons with a mechanism for the government to introduce emergency legislation as needed to deal with this pandemic. That is our proposal. We are open. We are hoping that we can find an agreement in a collaborative way, recognizing the priorities of every opposition party, including the government's need to react and respond to this crisis. So I've written the Prime Minister a letter. We've presented what we believe would be an appropriate work plan for the coming days and weeks. And anything that we do in the chamber can certainly be augmented and added to by virtual sittings to allow for a broader participation of members of Parliament from across the country.